Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com here opening a Clue Edition Murders at Karloff Manor box. It's called a Ravnica Clue Edition. Clue is my favorite movie. I'm really excited to see if I can get some of the alternate art of the various characters. If you don't know, the Clue Edition comes with a 21 card Clue booster, 8 20 card Ravnica Clue Edition boosters, Shockland box stopper, 4 hidden info screens, evidence notepad, case file envelope, and Ravnica Clue Edition card box. So, without further ado, let's get started. If you're a Clue fan like me, let me know your favorite quotes from the comments, or in the comments. Husbands should be like Kleenexes, soft, strong, and disposable. My favorite. From Mrs. White. Been watching it ever since I was a kid. We watch it every year around on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. All right, so pretty sweet looking box. A little bit, it's wider and shorter than the bundles are for your frame of reference. So here we have the Clue Edition Shuffle 2 packs in play. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have 8 packs. I guess it's kind of like Jumpstart in that way. You can just shuffle them up immediately and play. A filler. Got this thing. A couple of these. I'll find out what these are for later. This might be the box topper. So we have the wrench on top. We'll save that for the end, of course. Save the excitement for the end. All right, so this is where we can keep track of our suspects. If you've never played the game, you're trying to put, the movie's based on a game, which is interesting because you would think that movies based on board games wouldn't be all that great, but it's the best movie of all time, in my opinion. Not, we're not talking about Tarkovsky here or anything like that. Best entertaining movie, I guess, not art. So this is where so anyway, if you have never played the game, you're rolling the dice, moving around a board, finding out. You each draw a card, and that's who I guess, the person, the weapon, and the room where the murder happens, and you draw cards to narrow down which cards are missing. So if you draw the library, it didn't happen in the library, and that's how you end up putting together and solving the mystery of who did it. Oh, there's our box topper. So we've got some notes, suspects, weapons, rooms. I have no idea. This is exactly how this is going to work out because this is me literally opening it for the first time. All right, so this is the detailed rules of how to set it up to play a game of Magic via Clue, or Clue via Magic, I guess. I won't read you all that. If you're interested, I'm sure you can Google it, or you can send me a message and I will make a video of it. So that's pretty neat. I like having these little boxes in order to put extra cards in or commander decks. This one's pretty big though. It's got a little filler there. All right, so why don't we get to it? Okay, this is just cardboard. More cardboard. I'm not sure why we have the 4. I guess that's probably explained in the rules. Open the Clue booster and separate the 21 evidence cards into 3 piles. Shuffle each pile and place it face down. I guess when you're playing, you'd start with 30 life. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you must make a suggestion. Say, I suggest that the crime was committed by suspect with the weapon in the room. That player then secretly shows you one of the evidence cards from your suggestion, if they have one. If you have more than one card, they choose which to show you. And then I guess that way you narrow down which ones. The killer in the room and the weapon are you randomly assign and put into here, I guess, like in the game, and then each player has their own suspects, rooms, and weapons, and those didn't do it. So when you do combat damage, you find out from the opponent you hit some part of whether it's weapon, room, or suspect, and you can take them off the list or the place of the weapon. And I guess it's pretty complicated from there. At the beginning, if you think who did it at the beginning of your end step, after any suggestions, you can make an accusation to solve the murder. Say, I accuse, then check the case file envelope without letting other players see the evidence cards inside. You can only make one accusation per game, so be careful. If you named all 3 evidence cards inside the case file in envelope correctly, reveal them, you win the game. If your accusation is wrong, put them back and keep them hidden from the other players. You can't make suggestions or accusations for the rest of the game, but you must still respond to any from other players. Don't lose hope. Even though you can't solve the murder, you can still win the game by reducing the life totals of the other players to 0. So that's pretty sweet. Didn't read all the rules, but that's the general basis of it. Combination of Clue and Magic, 2 of my favorite things. I bought a second one of these to save for my kids when they get older, so that we can. All right, so I guess we have, just like Jumpstart, cards put into double wrapped. We have the normal wrapping and then the plastic wrapping. So we have Golgari Swarm. I don't know. I guess you can find out which cards you're going to likely get. So just like in Jumpstart, each one has maybe 1 mythic, 1 or 2 mythics you can randomly get, or 1 or 2 rares you get instead. So I don't know how much of these how familiar you are with these. I'll just probably skip to the good stuff though. So this has the Clue Edition icon. So that's one difference between these cards and the Murders of Call-Off Manor, which will have the normal dagger edition, dagger icon. Elf Shaman. I would like to make a green-black elf deck, but that's kind of low on my list right now. Vampire. These are the uncommons. Common Clue Edition. Another elf. Common Clue Edition. I think a lot of these are just reprints. Status statue. Okay, that's Clue Edition. All right, Golgari Signet. I mean, that's good. I mean, the signets are playable in Commander. It's always nice to have extras of those. Thriving More. These were pretty popular when they first got spoiled. They come into play tapped, and you can Thriving More enters battlefield, choose a color other than black. So you can tap it for black or the mana of the chosen color. So it's like a flexible, bad stockland. Budget, I should say, but it wasn't budget for long. So Golgari Guild Gate, Golgari Rot Farm, the bounce lands are always good. So we got Amzu Swarm's Hunger, 5 mana, 3/3 Flying Menace. Other insects you control have Menace. That's an insect shaman, so it can be your commander. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you may create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among those cards. Do this only once each turn. Yeah, my first Golgari spider deck was a spider insect deck because spiders are so bad, and then I realized that spiders are bad and you shouldn't just make them better by playing insects. So I made it all spider deck, but I don't have an insect deck to replace it yet. Deadbridge Chant, Mythic. I don't know. It's just, I guess it could be a good card. I don't know. It's 6 mana enchantment. It's an old card. It's a reprint. When Deadbridge Chant enters the battlefield, mill 10 cards. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So it really would only see play in Commander. It never really saw play in Standard when it was legal. Very slow reanimation card that your opponents can interact with by killing before you get any value out of it. So it's one big reason it's never seen play. Swamp. Yeah, so we didn't get a single alternate art Clue character in that set, or in that pack. Yeah, Mrs. Scarlet, probably one of my other favorites, but you know what? They all have great lines. Mrs. Peacock. All right, so Zoria Sinnet. But yeah, Mrs. White probably is my favorite overall. Owl Familiar. When Owl Familiar enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. I don't know how many of these are new prints, but I do have a bird deck, so that's nice. Just gonna go through Portal Manipulator, some uncommons here. Zoria Signet, like I said, always nice to have the signets. Let's make a separate file for the signets in these special lands. Curse of Chains. At the beginning of each upkeep, tap enchanted creature. Interesting. You might be able to get some shenanigans out of this where you can put it on your own creature and get it to, I don't know. I'm gonna say if there's ways to abuse it other than just shutting down an opponent's creature. Turn to miss, exile target creature, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Depending on the next step. Alright, so it could go in my blink deck, but some of these cards are probably reprints. I'm not that familiar with them. Some of them I am. So Chancery, Guildgate, alright, rare. Suppressor, Skyguard, Human Knight, 2/4 flying. Whenever a player attacks you, if that player has another opponent who isn't being attacked, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this combat. Alright. Ravnica of the 10th. Sure. Okay, that was a reprint from the Return to Ravnica, if I remember correctly. Moving on. So far, not very exciting, but you know what? That's okay. I was going to get this no matter what. Is it League? All right, we'll see if we can get one of our Mrs. Scarlet out of this or something. Who would be the blue one? I guess Mrs. Peacock is the blue one. Okay, so 4 mana Goblin Wizardry. This looks like one I'm not familiar with. Create 2/1/1 red Goblin Wizard creature tokens with prowess. It's 4 mana is a lot, but sweet for the common. Living Lightning. Ooh, Lightning Bolt's always good. Never have too many Lightning Bolts. There's our Signet. Direct Current. Deals 2 damage to the target. Alright. Thriving Bluff. Guildgate. Alright, so Corporeal Projection. A blue and a red. Sorcery. Target creature you can control gains a Myriad until end of turn. Myriad says whenever it attacks for each opponent other than a defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of that creature that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Exile the token at the end of combat. And then it has Overload for 7. So I guess this is a go big, go wide, swing out when the game type of Overload in theory. Hypersonic Dragon. I mean, the 4/4 flying haste for 5 mana is basically the going rate for dragons. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. I guess just doesn't do enough to make it to let it see play in any format. There are better dragons out there for just 2 red. And then there's always Murktide. I don't know where I'm putting my basic lands. Okay. I also don't. Oh, there they are. So swamps, islands. Let's actually keep them because they have the clue icon there. I'm not sure which one of these. I should have Googled it probably, but I wanted to be surprised. Orzhov Syndicate. Which one of these is where the money was? Like with the one jump start that year, you had Tiny Bones, Allosaurus, Shepherd. Everyone wanted to open those. One with Crater of Behemoth in it. Everybody wanted to open those to get those money mythics. I don't know if there are any chase mythics in these. Extort's a great mechanic for the Obnixilus deck I wrote about because you're getting to drain your opponent for exactly 1 life every time. So that's a 1 route. I'm going to make a budget deck of that. Already started working on it, but obviously you can't use something with a black-white, but you can use like something like this, Basilicus Screecher, in case you're new to Commander, even though it says, typically if there's a colored symbol in the text box that doesn't go with your Commander's colors, you can't play it in that deck. But with Extort, it's not actually counted as in the text box. It's either white or black. And so if you have a only mono black or black red commander like Obnixilus is, you can play a card like this in it. Fleshbag Marauder. I've been working on my zombie article. People like that card and the zombie tribal. There's our Signet. Murder from uncommon to common. Here's Downfall, I think, has been downgraded to a common, or maybe it's just uncommon, but from a rare. It's such a big card when it came out. Covetous Elegy, 6 mana, sorcery. Each player chooses up to 2 creatures they control, then sacrifice the rest. Then you create a tapped treasure token for each creature your opponents control. Seems like a really overcosted, ineffective sweeper. Seraph of the Scales, mythic. Nice flying. White, Seraph of the Scales gains vigilance until end of turn. Black, Seraph of the Scales gain death touch until end of turn. 4/3 with afterlife of 2. can't remember if this is the one that, I think it's not the one that people actually is worth anything. You know, I'm beginning to wonder if it's not in here that we have our clue creature or our clue cards. But anyway, we'll just keep opening, speed it up a little bit. So if what you're seeing isn't exciting to you, then you'll know not to buy this. Boros Legion, man, I did open up some Jumpstart. I felt like I kept getting the white soldiers over and over and over again. Yeah, and then when I made my budget life gain, I was going through my cards after I posted an article and realized, man, there's another bird I could use. There's so many budget-friendly life gain cards out there and it's from the Jumpstart. They have a lot of good options. So if I didn't include those in the article and you're unsure why, that's why. Just kind of slipped my mind. And also, if you're looking for budget options outside of that article, go to the Jumpstart packs because a lot of them are pretty cheap because they were printed in Jumpstart. Boris Signet, all right. These are land and a Guildgate Garrison, Angel of the Legion, one red, one white, or Aegis of the Legion, excuse me. It's an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has a mentor. Whenever equipped creature mentors a creature, put a shield counter on that creature. Equip 3. Damn, I feel like this is a new one. Finale of Glory, that might be worth something. 2 white X, create X 2/2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. If X is 10 or more, also create X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance. Pretty sweet. I know the green one of those finales is actually worth something because it gets played in modern a little bit, and then it's a pretty good staple in Commander. Not sure how much the white cards are worth. The white finale is worth. Golgari Swarm again. And this is where you get Womp Womp. We'll see if there's a better. We already got one mythic out of it. I wonder if they'd have a second mythic that's better than the Death Bridge Chant. Definitely different creatures at least. So it's an elf insect deck with plants. I don't know. Very interesting theme there. Wild size. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until a turn, draw a card. Currently working on a mono white deck where everything draws me a card. Trying to see how the color pie has been broken. And you'd be surprised at how many cards are mono white that have on them draw a card. You would think a lot less because of the color pie, but there's, more than 100. Sludge Titan, 6. 4 and a black green or black green. 6/6 trample zombie giant. Whenever Sludge Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 5 cards. You may put a creature card and or land card from among them into your hand. Well, that's pretty sweet. It's kind of fun, cool art. Oh, there's our other mythic from the Golgari Underrealm Lich. 5 mana, 4/3. It's like a Sylvan Library, if I remember. If you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put one into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Pay 4 life. Underrealm Lich gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Well, no, not quite what I remember it to be. Anyway, graveyard shenanigans, not bad. Word of fuel. I guess then, like for instance, my Moldrath deck, it could be a way to fill your graveyard and while digging for answers and what you need. 5 mana is a lot though. All right, Gruul Clans. Yeah, and it's at least we got different cards, but when you get a box like this with only 8 booster packs in it and 2 of them are the same Golgari Swarm, it's a little disappointing. Probably wouldn't make for great gameplay either. But who knows? Once my children are old enough, instead of doing this type of thing on camera, we'll open them up and play the way it's meant to be. It'll be fun. Of course, put all this time into I bought 2 booster packs for each of my kids since they were conceived, basically. My oldest has quite a collection. And after all this time and waiting for them to like Magic, I'm sure they'll all hate it and refuse to play it. Fire Spout. This is I saw. I'm working on this Amulet Dinos deck, and this was in someone's sideboard. Fire Spout deals 3 damage to each creature without flying if red was spent to cast a spell, and 3 damage to each creature with flying if green was spent to cast a spell. It's a sorcery. I don't know. I just wonder why you don't just play something like Brotherhood's End when it has more flexibility. Okay, Herald of Ilarg. 4 mana 3/3 trample. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put 2/1/1 counters on Herald of Ilharg, I guess. If that spell has mana value 5 or greater, Herald of Ilharg deals damage equal to the number of counters on it to each opponent. That's a pretty sweet card. Clan Defiance. Alright, old card, reprint, choose one or more. Deals X damage to target creature with flying, X damage to target creature without flying, and deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. Yeah, unimpressive. Alright, we got the last one before the excitement of if they are clue cards. I wonder if it's just no excitement in the clue cards. You get one of each weapon, one of each room, and one of each. Well, the rooms are the shocklands, if I remember, but we'll see. And one of each character, which is fine. I would love that. With the whole collection. House Demir. A whole pile of trash. Let's see. See if we can make some money off of this box. Well, the box topper might be our only way for that anyway. Mirror Signet. Good Alchemy. There's the land. Okay, Memory Vampire. 6 mana. Flying. When Memory Vampire deals combat damage to a player, any number of target players each mill that many cards. Then you may collect evidence 9. When you do, you may cast target non-land card from a defending player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. Duskmantle Seer is our mythic. Flying 4/4 at the beginning of your upkeep, each player reveals the top card of their library, loses life equal to that card's mana value, then puts it into their hand. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think drawing your opponent's cards is ever going to be playable without a lot of hoops to make it painful or punishing. Okay, well, I haven't heard a whole lot of hype about the Clue Edition Ravnica, and maybe this is why there just isn't a lot of money in it. But, you know, it could be fun for beginners or for people like me who love clues. So we get the wrench. Colonel Mustard's weapon. Candlestick. Who got the candlestick? Mrs. Scarlet, maybe? I can't remember. Lead pipe. That was Mr. Green. Knife, Mrs. Peacock. Rope, Mrs. White. You don't have the revolver. Maybe that's not because it's not a guns aren't in magic. The ballroom. All right, billiard room. So these are the uncommon lands that enter the battlefield tapped. You can get one of 2 colors out of them, and then pay for it and investigate. Billiard room, conservatory, dining room, hall, kitchen, library, lounge. Ooh, the secret passage. That was one of the best parts about the whole movie, where the secret passage is study. Apothecary White. All right, so we are getting all of our clue cards. I wish they were foil, but oh well. Mrs. White. Whenever you attack, you create a food token for each player being attacked. Pay a white tap. Tap it to tap X untap foods you control. Create X 1/1 white human creature tokens. She has vigilance. Senator Peacock. 5 mana 3/4. Artifacts you control are clues in addition to their other types and have two colorless. Sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, target creature can be blocked this turn. That's pretty powerful. Mastermind Plum. 3 mana 2/2. Whenever Mastermind Plum attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If an artifact card was exiled this way, create a treasure token. Whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, you draw a card and lose a life. I mean, these are pretty powerful cards for Commander, I would say. I wonder why how they decided what abilities to give which characters. I don't really think. I guess Mrs. White had a bunch of husbands, so she makes human creatures. Senator Peacock sold secrets, and so you have clues, maybe. Professor Plum took advantage of his patience and was a therapist. All right, Headliner Scarlet, 3/3 haste. She was the mistress or the madam of a brothel. When Headliner Scarlet enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls can't block this turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at and play that card this turn. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I can make a stretch, right? But we're not gonna make that. We're not gonna talk too much about it. Like trying to say, like, how do you connect the madam of a brothel with exiling a top card from your library and playing it, or getting a free card each turn. And then creatures your target player controls can't block this turn because maybe they're occupied. Emissary Green, 5 mana 3/3. Whenever Emissary Green attacks, starting with you, each player votes for profit or security. You create a number of treasure tokens equal to twice the number of profit votes. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control equal to the number of security votes. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the movie for those of you who haven't seen it, so I won't say anything about that, but interesting choice there. And Commander Mustard is Colonel Mustard, 5 mana 5/5 vigilance. Other soldiers you control have vigilance, trample, and haste. Well, that's pretty powerful. You can 2 colors, red and white. Do it as many times as you have mana. Until end of turn, soldiers you control gain whenever this creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to defending player. It was like my least favorite character. Otherwise, this card is really fun and powerful. A very powerful soldier commander, I would say. And he was the ex-military in the movie, so of course he's with soldiers. All right, so that's the clue cards, and now we're off to our final, most exciting part. Big money, big money, big money, no whammies. I have no idea which one's worth the most. We know we're going to get one, though, so usually it's the like Demir colors or something with blue in it is usually the ones that are worth the most money. See if I can open this without bending it. Of course. So it is Godless Shrine. All right, that's pretty sweet art. Surge foil kind of looking thing. Maybe not. Not. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a surge foil, even though it has some streaks in it. All right. Well, I have to check out how much that's worth. I mean, I'm sorry, but I will say this: straight out of the package, already folding like a Pringle. Wizards, get it together, man. Figure out a way that you can make really nice, good-looking foils without it doing this. They're unplayable. You can't play foils that do this because it's cheating. You can see the card. Like I have foil lands in my commander deck. I'm having to take them out because I can tell from the top, if the card on top of my library is curling like a Pringle, that it's probably a land. Like seriously, you have one job, people. Your one job is to make magic cards and to make foils playable and good looking. You've got to figure this out. There's got to be a way to make a foil that doesn't curl like a Pringle. It's in the package. It came out of the package like this. All right, well, that's a disappointment, but it was fun opening up the box. If you're new to Magic and you love Clue, this is a good way to start. If you're looking to get a lot of value out of a box, out of a purchase, I don't know how much these cost, $50 or something, then I would say go elsewhere, buy your singles. If you really want this type of these shock lands, I have a feeling they're going to probably stay fairly low price compared to other alternate art foil full art shock lands, just because of the curl, the Pringle type thing here. All right, well, thanks for watching. This is Johnny Cycles. As always, check out my website, cyclesgaming.com, or hit me up on YouTube, Johnny Cycles. Click that subscribe button. I'll be posting this video soon, and be on the lookout for my zombie precon deck and our article where I discuss whether zombie precons and precons in general are ruining Commander, and I'll give you a couple zombie Commander lists as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.